Hello my friends, welcome all of you, almost 106,000 starseeds, light workers and wanderers to this wonderful session where I have channeled the Galactic Federation to ask about very interesting questions and primarily to ask about, there have been many rumors that we were hearing about certain alien bodies which were shown in the Mexico Congress to be real aliens or not. Truth has been revealed in this session, and also there have been other rumors such as the elites, they may have directed energy weapon technology. So I have asked about the truth about them, and it is very different and unexpected. When you listen to the session, you'll understand what the real truth is. The questions also I have asked about relates with what is the truth behind near-death experiences. And when people, whenever there is a person who experienced near-death experiences, they state that they saw some things, right? I need to find out the truth, and the session reveals the truth about the near-death experiences, whether we can rely on them or not. The function of each biorhythm has been explained towards the end of the session, which is also very enlightening. Before the session begins, I want to say thank you to all of you who have joined on a Patreon, because we have a meditation coming up to raise the collective consciousness and to prevent the looking glass event. And if you want to join in that and also get access to 400 censored sessions, you can find it on my Patreon. The link is on the description. And I want to say thank you to all of you who liked the video, because it is a service to humanity and it is helping to reach to others who need this information spiritually. With that being said, enjoy the session, my friends.
We are the Galactic Federation, and we are now communicating through this instrument's internal vibrations at this time. Furthermore, our consciousness is connected at this time through this instrument's consciousness stream for the purpose of transmitting our information. However, since the people of the Earth planet have free will to exercise, we must warn that each of our statements and communications must be put under scrutiny by the mind complex of each entity, thereby only accepting those thoughts which resonate deeply with the inner self. We shall now answer the queries that are found today related with what is the real truth behind the alien corpses shown in the Mexico's Congress as known by your people recently. We must firstly state that upon scanning this vibration, we indeed find that an entity who primarily researches on these aspects of known by your people as the UFOs and extraterrestrial entities primarily presented these corpses. However, we must firstly state that these corpses which are presented were not entirely the real alien entity bodily complexes which were claimed in that hearing as known by your people, as these were primarily created by an entity who was extremely advanced in the field of creation of such types of artifacts. These artifacts were created 5 years ago approximately, and the vibration complex of these entities were placed inside a container which created the feeling or the environment which allowed these bodily complexes to become old and seem as if their bodily complexes were different. We must indeed state that the extraterrestrial bodily complexes that were shown has around 20% of real extraterrestrial material, which was found in the location of Peru, and by the process of imagination and by infusing other bodily complex material, the full structure was created for the purpose of displaying it We must state that this is not entirely the true nature of how extraterrestrial entities appear. Furthermore, the 25% bodily complex of the extraterrestrial entities primarily belongs to the entities known as the gray entities who were found in the location of your planetary sphere in the Nazca lines as known by your people during their flight expedition, which occurred around a period of 50 years ago, wherein there was a crash in that location, and their bodily complexes had decomposed, leading to the finding of the remaining 25% of the bodily complex. Therefore, this is indeed the reconstruction of the remainder of the bodily complex of the extraterrestrial bodily vehicles. And we, the Galactic Federation, must state that this is the preparation for even more higher levels of disclosure which is being prepared upon your planetary sphere in the coming days. Therefore, the other portion of the query relates with what is the truth regarding the nature of near-death experiences and the purpose of human existence on Earth. We must firstly state that the aspects of existence upon the vibration of the incarnation is often misunderstood by the people of your planet as the notion of a deliberate encounter with the threshold of afterlife. Each human mind, body, and spirit complex before embarking on their incarnational journey, each individuals have the opportunity to align and choose the type of spiritual experience they may or may not experience in their incarnational spiritual pathway, which is primarily dependent upon their free will. This experience primarily of entering into the astral realm and experiencing a separation from the physical bodily complex is known as a near-death experience, which primarily unfolds with the permission of each entity. However, many of these entities forget about these aspects as the incarnation begins. Furthermore, the entities upon your planet primarily have experienced the so-called near-death experience. Participants or entities who experience it never truly approach the actual crossing over from the incarnation. Many a times it may appear and feel like a close encounter with death. These primarily allowed them to be tethered to the earthly incarnation. Furthermore, we shall now address the depiction of what primarily is found during such experiences, which primarily may be different from the common experiences of the people of your planetary sphere. The near-death experience is intricately linked to the preconceptions and energetic vibratory fields of an individualized portion of consciousness which undergoes this experience. Each entity's narrative upon the return is primarily unique. Some entities emerge from a near-death experience with accounts explaining that these entities were able to see heaven or hell or other attributes. Furthermore, many of the entities also exclaim that they went inside a tunnel which was filled with the light of the Creator, and they felt boundless love, and they reunited with the family complex, since the spectrum of experience of near-death experiences is primarily created by the subconscious portion of the mind. the same portion of the mind complex which is responsible for dreaming. In a dream state also, many of these events occur, and similarly in a near-death experience. If an entity experiences any situations which may lead it to feel as if it were crossing over, the subconscious program begins, and the subconscious program overlays the movie of experiencing a near-death visualization, which primarily includes entering into a tunnel or a vision of light, or entering into some realm which works primarily implanted in the incarnational cycle of an entity. Furthermore, this primarily means that most of the near-death experiences are subconscious absorptions of information and are not entirely true, hence they may be considered as a dreaming state, which may seem entirely real as a good dream. And an unconscious dream also seems real to the entity who is experiencing it. Therefore, we must also state that during this time, many of the entities are unaware that their vibrations are shifting, and that their subconscious is activating a program known as the near-death experience program, which primarily prevents the real truth from entering into the earthly planet. Therefore, most of the information which has been shared to your people by the experiencers of near-death experience is incorrect, and only 1% of these accounts primarily are those who have actually went beyond these visualizations, which occur primarily approximately for 10 minutes in the mind complex, and those entities who have gone beyond this time spectrum of unconsciousness see the true reality, which is far more diverse and complex than the simplified version of entering a tunnel of light and other attributes of meeting beings. We must state that the astral realm is, in a way, so complex that it appears like a world full of vibrating light surrounding the entity, and there are many structures which cannot be defined by your language patterns which appear in the astral plane. Therefore, the true near-death experiences cannot be described by your word complexes. Furthermore, the other portion of the query related with, are the rumors true that the elites have access to directed energy weapons which they can use whenever they want? This is in reference to the recent events which have in a way happened in Maui. We must state that we, the Galactic Federation, have found a type of group which is responsible for these types of directed energy weapon attack upon various locations. It is indeed true that the Aster Command has detected the Orion Directive Group, who are the masters of the etheric ray beam. These entities primarily are working along with the Orions and have a few powerful individuals from your planetary sphere who have created this group known as the Orion Directive and the Etheric Ray. These entities primarily have a simple purpose, and that is to use the so-called technology of directed energy weapons which can be inflicted by the Orion spacecraft, which can appear in the atmosphere of your planetary sphere. If the group invites such types of energetic frequency to be sent to a certain location, however, there are certain conditions to follow. This primarily includes the rule to follow of only using the technology if there is a greater damage done to the vibrations of entities rather than just the physical consciousness, as the Orion social memory complex does not care about physical damage as much as creating fear within the mind complex, such as in that situation seen in Maui. There was a directed energy weapon which was used, which created large amounts of fear and also created damage in that location. Furthermore, we must state that the main beneficiaries of these types of technologies are the elites, who can then use their power and influence and the so-called resource known as money to control the people in such locations. The other query relates with what are the different kinds of biorhythms and the function of each biorhythm. We must state firstly that biorhythms are cycles or patterns which are found to influence various aspects of an incarnation of an entity's life cycle, which primarily includes those attributes such as physical, emotional, and intellectual well-being. Further, it is primarily important to notice that there is indeed a limited understanding upon your people about the aspects of biorhythms. Furthermore, we shall now explain the different types of biorhythms and the functions of each. There is a physical biorhythm wherein the physical bodily complex primarily follows a cycle of around 23 days cycle in your space-time illusion complex, wherein the 23rd day is considered to be the most vital point of physical activity, and the performance of the physical bodily complex is extremely high at this time. The other portion of the second biorhythm is the emotional biorhythm, which primarily has been found by the people of your planet around 28 days cycle, and it is responsible for influencing the mind, body, spirit complexes, emotional states of consciousness, and the higher points in the cycle are associated with positive emotions and experiences, whereas the low points may correspond to periods of emotional instability. We must, however, state that this is a type of distortion which can be changed by an entity's free will, as the choice of choosing an emotional state is independent of any type of biorhythm. However, this implies for those entities who are unconscious all their biorhythms. There is also another type of intellectual biorhythm which primarily is found to operate on a 33rd day cycle and is primarily associated with a mind, body, spirit complex's abilities of memory and mental agility. Furthermore, there is another type of spiritual biorhythm which is found to be associated with a 38-day cycle in the Earth planet, which influences the person's intuitive and spiritual endeavors. Therefore, we, as the Galactic Federation, must state that these biorhythms only are applicable for entities who are unconsciously controlled by their subconscious patterns. Hence, we must now leave you, beloveds. Bye.
Hi friends, let me give you a brief summary of what I learned in the session. Basically, what I have learned in the session is that there are indeed certain types of energetic weapons which are being used by the elites, and they said that you are in contact with the Orions, who can create like these directed energy beams which can cause damage or fires and other type of stuff which happened in Maui recently. And the truth about the alien corpses seen in Mexico Congress, actually they stated that only 20% of the bodies which was shown is real alien. The rest of them were constructed or reconstructed to fill the gap by using imagination. So indeed, only a certain portion of that is actually true. And they said that these, the 20% of the bodily complex of the aliens came from the gray entities who crashed in the Nazca lines. I believe it is near Peru. So this was revealed. And also finally about the near-death experience, what they said is that most of the near-death experience, it is just a subconscious program which has been planted in this bodily vehicle, and it activates for 10 minutes after death. So most people, whenever they cross over for 10 minutes, they play this program and they see things which have been implanted in the subconscious, such as meeting, going to hell, going to heaven, or like doing things. I don't know, there are many like things that happen which I have heard. And the other thing about biorhythms is they stated that the biorhythms only apply for individuals who are unconscious and not yet self-aware, because if a self-aware individual is able to understand how to manipulate energy, choose emotion, they can override any biorhythm. So as far as I understand, and I want to say thank you to all of you for also sending me a request for past life, your soul identity and your soul name on my email. If you want to know about that, I will help you out. And also thank you to all of you for getting the book version of the channel messages, which you can read in a book format. And finally, I want to say thank you to all of you for downloading the free version of the transcripts of my sessions. You can read it for free. The link is on the description, and I hope you'll enjoy this session over here.